It's always a good sign when you hire a position coach and someone from the other fan base says, yeah, we're going to miss him.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Special guest today, Mountaineer Paul, host of Locked On West Virginia, hanging out with us. We've been talking a lot over the last day or so, Paul, with the news of Larry Porter leaving West Virginia to return to Auburn to be Alex Golesh's running backs coach. And your initial reaction, it seemed like, yeah, Larry Porter has done an incredible job at pretty much every spot that he's been at when dealing with running backs.
Absolutely. If you look at just the players he's coached over his career, it's a long, distinguished list. Amari and Hampton, 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns with him. I mean, just an incredible year. Elijah Hood was at UNC with him. TJ Logan was at UNC with him. I mean, he was one of the first guys Mac Brown hired whenever he came to UNC. That's a legendary coach, right? Jacob Hester, that's a legendary LSU name, a national champion. Charles Scott, a legendary LSU name, right? Joseph Addai, we all know who that is, one of the greatest Colts.
Oh, that's a throwback.
Ever.
That's crazy.
That's a throwback, yeah. And you can go on and on. There's a huge list of players. He's also been named the National Recruiter of the Year twice in his career. He's just a guy that from my vantage point, is a guy who didn't know who he was really before he came to West Virginia.
Yeah.
And a guy that we really needed everybody to buy into the hard edge philosophy Rich Rodriguez has. I mean, he really grinded it out, bought into it, and showed us a lot in the year he was here. It was a 1-year contract, so we knew he was only going to be a bridge guy. He's just one of those guys, you're not going to keep him at a place like West Virginia very long. He's more of a guy, he's always coached at upper tier places. That's just the truth, right? So he's a guy that's highly sought after. You can keep him for a year. You can have him for 10. He's going to do a great job.
Yeah, this is now his third stint in the SEC. Like you mentioned with LSU, he coached under Gus Malzahn, and now he will be at Auburn again under Golesh. I mean, how much of it do you think, okay, we've listed all these guys who have had a ton of success at the college level and at the pro level with some of these guys. How much of it do you think is, okay, he's getting these guys on the roster? And how much of it is, okay, I'm molding this clay, it might be really good, high quality clay, but I'm still molding it into this productive running back? What do you think that balance is?
Well, the ultimate decider is NFL draft picks, and he's had 12. The best players in the country can come to your roster, and if you're not developing them, they're not going to be NFL picks. They may be good players in college, but to develop people into NFL players, there has to be an extra layer of development there. And he's done that top down, right? I mean, I think everywhere you look, his coaching philosophy is, I mean, when you look at West Virginia, the things he said in his opening press conference was, we're going to focus on execution, we're going to focus on details, and we're going to understand what the coach's scheme is. Whatever that is, I'm going to learn it, then I'm going to teach it to our guys at a high level, whether that's up-tempo like Rich Rod or Gus Malzahn, or if that's a guy that slows it down a little bit more like Mac Brown. He's done it a little bit everywhere. And I think he's proven that he can learn schemes, whether they're his or not, and then teach other kids how to run those schemes in a simple way.
Yeah, it is interesting you pointing out the different tempos. The assumption is Golesh is going to kind of bring some up-tempo back to Auburn. And so him doing that at multiple stops, I think that's a great point that you bring up. I always don't know exactly how to feel about running backs, coach. That's why I really like that Derek Nix was Auburn's OC last year, and then he also coached running backs. I don't know how much of that is a position. At some extent, it's like you've got it or you don't at running back. Now, sure, you've got a game plan as far as pass protection, and certain guys are going to overplay holes and not. You need to be aware of all that, sure. But I always view the running back coach position as that guy better be able to recruit, and it seems like that is definitely a thing with Larry Porter.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you look at what West Virginia just did. Amari Latimer. I mean, West Virginia had several 4-star flips on signing day, #1 class in the Big 12. The running backs class that we brought in may be the best of
West
all
Virginia
of
had
them.
the best class in the Big 12.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, congrats
Yeah,
to
it
y'all.
was
That's great.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So excited about that. I mean, surpassing Texas
Should be.
Tech in anything these days, obviously. West Virginia did a really interesting thing with that. They actually held back $5 million within the cap. So as long as you use it within the same year, you can use it over 2 different spans, like two separate seasons. Obviously, it doesn't roll over, but there is loopholes. West Virginia used one, and they were able to hold back like $5 million to use for recruiting, and that's what they
From the rev share.
from the rev share.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
they openly talked about it. They said, listen, we saved about $5 million. We didn't spend last year. We knew the year one was going to be a tough year anyways. So it was a smart way to do it. And I think that is why they probably were able to get the top spot in the Big 12. And then you look at the running backs class, Amari Latimer, everybody wanted him on signing day. It was Miami. It was Ohio State. It was West Virginia. And West Virginia somehow flips him away from everybody else. And I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to dollars, right?
Yeah.
And also recruiting. So, I think they were able to sell this guy on something. And I think, Porter was a big part of that. Wish he could have stayed. I think at the end of the day, man, though, I think kids play for head coaches more so than they do positional coaches these days.
Sure.
But I think Porter was a guy that Amari was excited about when I talked to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to I got a few more questions for you, Mountaineer Paul, and then just total impact of what happened this past season under Larry Porter and what you think Auburn fans should expect. All that's coming up right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. And look, live betting is the name of the game right now. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. So if you want to get right in the middle of the action, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. And look, hey, it's Christmas time. We're all scrambling last second for gifts, whether it's for family members, friends, loved ones. And if you want to get something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every single time. It's not just something you wrap. It's a way to share memories with the folks that you love. Aura is not your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup, headaches, just instant smile. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off their best-selling Carver matte frames. Use code COLLEGE at checkout. That is Aura Frames, AURA frames.com. Use promo code COLLEGE to get that deal. And, of course, terms and conditions apply. Mountaineer Paul, our special guest today. Of course, he hosts Locked On West Virginia. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen. Go check out Locked On West Virginia today. So as far as what Larry Porter and the running backs did last year at West Virginia, take us through that because it was not an ideal situation.
Maybe one of the least ideal situations anybody's ever seen on that coaching staff.
Sure.
Not only is it your first year, you're trying to figure the thing out in this era, mind you, when you have no returning players or talent.
Yeah.
Everybody, obviously Neil Brown left. Rich Rob was hired. I think he was hired right around now, this time last year. So last year the portal windows were different. So not only did you miss the first portal window, but you missed high school recruiting. They didn't even have a class last year of base, which this year that we just had was their first actual base class. So you didn't have that base talent to work with, and then you had to pick over the second portal window to figure out things. And then on top of that, so you're signing a lot of JUCO, you're signing a lot of Division II guys that have a lot of upside. You think you're trying to figure it out,
yeah.
And then you lose your first, second, third, fourth, and fifth string. And I'm not exaggerating this at all.
That's crazy.
Quarterback, first, second, fourth, third, fourth, and fifth string. Running back. If I can go through the list. It's Jaheim White gets hurt 5 quarters into the year. Ty Edwards comes in from Northern Iowa. He gets hurt after being the hero in the Pitt game. and carrying you to a win over what turned out to be a pretty good Pitt team. You bring in a guy from SMU that you think you're going to be able to play with, who was really good at when he was at Miami, and he doesn't become eligible. Then you're working with your redshirt freshman, your freshmen, a lot of those guys coming in to hopefully be good. And over the course of the year, some of those guys don't go down. And by the time you're at the end of the year, you're working with the guy who played in JUCO last year and has very little experience in Sincere Bowers, or your redshirt freshman, Dior Hubbard. So, those guys, while they play pretty well for what was given of them, it was a truly snake-bitten year, not only the running back room, but the quarterback room and overall on the team. So, for what happened, as far as the impact of all that on the team last year, morale was, this team fought all year long. They really did. A lot of teams would have given up in this day and age and mailed it in, and they were able to continue to, they beat top 25 teams down the stretch. So, right. Like Houston. And so they were able to pull some wins out when you were kind of worried about the buy-in factor. And that says a lot about this staff, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so like Larry Porter specifically, like with dealing with the fourth or fifth string running back, do you feel like you saw improvement?
Oh yeah, there was no doubt about it.
Sample size there.
Absolutely. Listen, Dior Hubbard had almost no carries in his career and really, really carried us to that win over Houston. He carried us to some other wins were games where we were at least close. So the running back room was never the thing you were talking about. And not only that, Zach, this was the worst offensive line room in the history of West Virginia football. I'm not kidding. If you go on Pro Football Focus, right guard Kimo Makaniole was the last rated offensive guard in all of college football. All of college football. Right tackle Ty Crawford, who came in from Arkansas, was in the 200s in all of college football. It was by far the worst offensive line we've ever seen. And we still ran the ball effectively because of the offense that Rich Rod runs. But, we run it a lot as well. But also because Porter got a lot out of not having almost anything. So he really did a good job, in my opinion.
So bottom line, Auburn fan watching this, what should they expect day one from Larry Porter in your mind?
He's a guy that gets buy-in. That's my biggest thing when I was watching him. Like, he was basically a walking quote of Rich Rodriguez. It's almost like watching Rich Rodriguez's press conference, watching Larry Porter talk. He's just a guy that buys into whatever the head coach is. And he kind of repeats that. Like, he repeated a lot of slogans that Rich Rod has a lot. You can tell he was bought in. And he's a guy that's an elite recruiter. He's been two-time National Recruiter of the Year. And if you look at some of the guys he's brought in over his career, Russell Shepard, Terrence Oliver, Craig Lawston, Khalid Williams, like he's Charles Scott, Chad Jones, Amari and Hampton. These are all guys with a 94 grade or above. Yeah. And there are several more with those kind of grades. Elite recruiter, really good culture guy, and I think he'll make an impact at Auburn absolutely quickly.
Mountaineer Paul, if folks want to check out everything you've got going on, what do they do?
Yeah, you head over to YouTube, Locked On West Virginia. We're there twice a day, 7 days a week. I learned that from Zach early on in my tenure at Locked On West Virginia. You go live twice a day. So we do it a little different over there. We go live a lot, but we are on there twice a day. So we're excited to be doing that, and thank you, Zach, for having us on, man.
Yeah, man, of course. Thank you for your insight, my friend. Please like the video. Please subscribe. We will see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.